The ICU has a particular sound. It isn't loud exactly. It's persistent, a chorus of beeps that never resolves into silence, like the room itself is holding its breath. My daughter lay curled beneath a thin blanket, her skin too warm, lashes dark against cheeks that looked unfamiliar in the fluorescent light. Numbers glowed on a screen beside her bed. I learned what they meant without ever wanting to. Fever up. Heart rate steady. Oxygen fine. Wait and see. I sat in a chair that didn't quite fit my back and watched the clock make it small. Cruel progress. Every so often a nurse would come in, adjust something, ask me if I needed water. I nodded a lot. I texted my partner updates in clipped sentences. I didn't text my family. The family chat stayed quiet anyway. No, how is she? No, do you need anything? Not even a heart emoji, which my mother liked to deploy when she didn't know what to say. The silence wasn't surprising. It was just clean. Undeniable. Late that afternoon, after a doctor explained the plan again, fluids, meds, observation, I checked my phone and saw the notification. My mother's name. The chat lit up with her message, bright and cheerful against the gray of the room. Your brother could really use $70K for his honeymoon. You're doing well, right? I read it once. Then again, the words didn't sting the way I expected. They landed flat, like a plate set down too hard. You're doing well, right? Not how is your daughter? Not I'm worried. Just a transaction framed as intimacy. I didn't type. I didn't react with an emoji. I put the phone face down on the little rolling table and watched my daughter's chest rise and fall. Memory does strange things when you're tired. It compresses. I remembered covering a car repair for my brother because who's had a rough year. I remembered booking flights for my parents because I was better with apps. I remembered being told, more than once, that I was the strong one, strong enough to carry the quiet costs. That night, when visiting hours ended, I kissed my daughter's forehead and told her I'd be right outside. In the hallway, I opened my banking app. The shared accounts were there, like always, familiar and benign. I didn't feel angry. I felt precise. I removed my mother as an authorized user. I stopped the monthly transfer I'd set up years ago, just in case. I changed the password on the account my father used to pay a few recurring bills because it was easier than teaching him. I did it carefully, the way you do something you know you won't undo. Then I went back in and sat with my daughter until the monitors settled into a rhythm that didn't scare me. The next day, she improved by a fraction, enough that the doctor smiled with his eyes, enough that I let myself eat a granola bar and drink bad coffee without nausea. My phone buzzed once, twice, then went quiet again. 6 missed calls from my dad appeared by mid-afternoon. I didn't answer. It wasn't punishment. It was triage. I had one place my attention belonged, and it wasn't in explaining myself to people who hadn't noticed where I was. By evening, the fever broke. Just a little. I cried in the bathroom with the door locked, my hands braced on the sink, my breath coming out in small, controlled bursts. Relief is weight. It presses down before it lifts. The 7th call came the next morning while I was folding a paper cup flat and setting it on the tray. I stared at the screen for a long moment. Then I answered. Where have you been? My dad said. Not hello, not how is she? His voice carried irritation first, concern somewhere far behind it. I've been here, I said. With her. A pause. Your mother says you cut her off. I didn't correct the framing. I adjusted access. I said, yes, this is a misunderstanding, he said quickly, the way he always did when he wanted to erase impact with intent. She didn't mean anything by that text. I looked through the glass at my daughter sleeping, her hand curled like she was holding something invisible. Meaning isn't the issue, I said. Timing is, he sighed. I could picture him rubbing his forehead. We didn't know it was that serious. You didn't ask? I said. Silence stretched. The monitors beeped on the other side of the glass, faithful and unbothered. Your brother is counting on us, my dad said finally. The honeymoon deposits. I'm counting on me, I said. My voice surprised me. It didn't shake. And on what I can manage. Right now, that's my child. He tried a different tone then. Softer. We raised you to help family. You raised me to handle things, I said. I'm doing that. Another pause, longer this time. When he spoke again, the defensiveness had thinned into something like uncertainty. So what are you saying? I'm saying the money I have is going where it's needed, I said, and the conversations about it will wait. You can't just, I can, I said gently. And I have. We ended the call without resolution. There wasn't one to reach. When I hung up, my hands were steady. That surprised me most of all. The messages came later. From my mother first, confused, then wounded, then apologetic in a way that centered her discomfort. From my brother, brief and careful, as if he were stepping around something fragile. from an aunt, asking if everything was okay. I didn't answer right away. I answered my daughter when she woke and asked for water. I answered the nurse who came to check her vitals. I answered myself when the old reflex tried to surface. The one that said, fix it, smooth it, make it easier. 2 days later, we went home. My daughter slept in the car, her breath even, her fever gone. I felt hollowed out and lighter at the same time, like something unnecessary had been removed. I sent one message to the family chat that night: we're home. She's stable. I'll reach out when I'm ready to talk. The replies were immediate. Hearts, relief, offers to help. Now that the crisis had passed, I put the phone down. In the weeks that followed, the practical consequences settled in. My parents adjusted. Bills got rerouted. My brother scaled back plans. The family learned, slowly, that my availability had edges. I still love them. That didn't change. What changed was the shape of my love, less porous, more intentional. I stopped translating silence into strength. I stopped mistaking obligation for care. Sometimes I wonder if I should have said more in that ICU room. If I should have explained how the text landed, how the timing cut. But explanation has a way of becoming negotiation, and I wasn't negotiating anymore. Prioritizing my child didn't make me selfish. It made me accurate. On quiet nights now, when my daughter sleeps and the house hums with ordinary sounds, I think about the question my mother asked, "You're doing well, right?" And I understand it for what it was. A shorthand. An assumption. A way to skip over the parts that mattered. I'm doing what needs doing. And that's enough.